Few films have struck a chord in their audience to the level of becoming a global phenomenon. But even fewer have had the impact of Marvel's Black Panther, especially when considering the usual blockbuster romp that is a typical MCU film. This is in large part due to the conversation created by the director of the film, Ryan Coogler. Coogler was an interesting hire for this project. Besides his previous work resurrecting the Rocky franchise through Apollo's son in Creed, he was relatively untested in a high-profile role. But the real reason for his hire might be his work in a prior independent film, Fruitvale Station, made in memory of Oscar Grant, a 22-year-old Oakland resident gunned down by the BART police force. In this chilling day-in-the-life drama, we're made to relive Grant's final moments, his very real struggles, and his personal triumphs. We see that he was a young man with a family, trying to do right and break out of a system that wouldn't release its hold on him.
The factors that went into Oscar getting, Oscar being murdered, I was like, man, I was trying to figure out how somebody could watch that videotape and not feel how I felt, and I realized it was a case of intimacy. You know what I'm saying? Like when I look at him, I felt closer to him than maybe somebody else did looking at him, you know what I'm saying? And so the film was about let's spend time with people who knew him the best.
In hindsight, Black Panther is a continuation of this story, a what if of Oscar Grant, and many more Black Americans that share his context.
No tears for me?
Everybody dies. It's just life around here.
What if Black Americans weren't the victims of America's original sin? And what might an oasis of a world built on exploitation look like is explored in Wakanda, an idealized but also richly layered world that Coogler uses to explore his African fantasy.
You believe that? Kid from Oakland running around believing in fairy tales.
The result of the African diaspora and slave trade is reflected in the two leads. The impact in the story is the way that these characters react and interact to this world of what-ifs. It's one of the best cases of the frequent criticism of Marvel films having the hero and villain being perfect opposites, due to how well these characters are fleshed out and the completion of their arcs. With Killmonger, we see what happens when identity is lost. The story has Killmonger raised by his father, his mother's absence perhaps symbolizing the loss of the motherland that propels his journey. He's bright, which we can see from his accomplishments both academically as well as militarily, becoming a Black Ops mercenary with the CIA.
Eric Stevens. Graduated Annapolis age 19, MIT for grad school. Joined the SEALs and went straight to Afghanistan where he wrapped up confirmed kills like it was a video game. Started calling him Killmonger. He joined a JSOC ghost unit. Now these guys are serious. They will drop off the grid so they can...
However, his purpose through the entirety of his life is just one: revenge. The loss of his father at the hand of Wakanda's king, his own uncle, serves as a reminder that many African slaves were captured and sold into slavery by their own neighbors and countrymen, a difficult but necessary truth that Coogler explores in the film.
I found my daddy with panther claws in his chest. You ain't the son of a king, you a son of a murderer.
Killmonger's lack of a cultural identity is further explored by his inversion of traditional norms in some African societies. The practice of scarification in African communities, one meant to symbolize growth, maturity, and coming of age, is twisted into a simple tool to tally his murderous past.
They're savages. This is what they do to people like us.
I ain't worried about no brain. Check these out. Each one is for a kill.
This represents the stunted growth of his character. To physically brand himself reflects his inner pain, and the inversion of his own worldview is made complete when we see him literally flip the Wakanda's world upside down as he takes the throne. He showcases his murders proudly, a walking contradiction as he professes to killing the same people he so desperately wants to save.
I took life from my own brothers and sisters right here on this continent.
The truth is that he wants vengeance for the loss of his father, and against a world that
took everything away from me. Everything I ever loved.
He's a perfect foil for our protagonist T'Challa, who must grapple with the ideologies and truths brought forward by Killmonger, and not only grow from the experience, but truly embrace both mercy and kingship.
To be
judge, jury, and executioner for people who are not our own.
Not your own. But didn't life start right here on this continent? So ain't all people your people?
I am not king of all people. I am king of Wakanda.
These foils are used to help us grapple with the history of slavery, violence, and betrayal that is deeply imbued in our modern discourse. Oftentimes, Africans dismiss the African American experience due to the lack of ties to the motherland, an unfortunate bias that sees them as lesser than for it.
They will say you are lost.
But I'm right here.
Similarly, programming of Africa as a backwards jungle has divested a richly diverse continent of its overseas family.
Take, for example, the UNICEF commercials. Emaciated African children in mud huts that you could save for $1. Although well-intentioned, the narrative is one of scarcity, not of Africa as the most resource-rich continent on the planet.
This manufactured divide has festered with no real solution or platform to bridge the gaps. That's what made Black Panther such a powerful and necessary work, even if it happened to be delivered by Steamboat Willie. Eric Killmonger was a product of violence. He had no mother, his father was killed, leaving him abandoned. He chose to adopt the way of his father and himself become a radicalized terrorist. He partnered with the same villain his father was working with before he was killed, the same villain who killed many Wakandans in an effort to steal vibranium, a stain on King T'Chaka's legacy and one heralded by his own brother. In this sense, Killmonger is utilitarian and doesn't mind working with Claw, just like his father. The symbolism of using both T'Challa and Killmonger's inherited sin of the father.
He killed his own brother and left a child behind with nothing. What kind of king? What kind of man does that?
When Killmonger uses Claw to further discredit the King T'Challa, bringing back the body neither T'Challa nor his father could, he secures distrust in the establishment. In another instance of breaking tradition, Killmonger asks that they forego the rights of challenge, his journey to power again forsaking what's sacred because he never grew to respect or appreciate it.
The whole country ain't gotta be there, I just need him.
T'Challa, on the other hand, undergoes powerful changes throughout the film. While his conflict is more subdued and subtle than Killmonger's, he's played brilliantly by the late Chadwick Boseman. His performance really capturing the nuance and complexity of the gaps in understanding between Africans and African Americans, and this may be the reason some didn't feel strongly about his character growth.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
His level of understanding for not only Killmonger, but the oppressed in general, grows. From the unsure king that is torn by the reality that created his cousin, to the actualized Black Panther, a bringer of peace between warring nations.
The tribes lived in constant war with each other until the warrior became king and the first Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda.
We find T'Challa returning home after the events of Captain America's Civil War, after completing his own revenge arc in the prior film. This Black Panther is confused and tells his father on the spirit plane,
I want to be a great king, Baba. Just like you. You're going to struggle.
So you'll need to surround yourself with people you trust.
You're a good man, with a good heart. And it's hard for a good man to be king.
And this uncertainty continues throughout the film, as his early failures cause his trusted friends to lose faith in him, and ultimately in himself, once his uncertainties confront him in the form of Killmonger. T'Challa is introduced as a traditionalist. In reverence, he does not question his ancestors.
We are not like these other countries, Nakia. If the world found out what we truly are, what we possess, we could lose our way of life.
This is something deeply ingrained in African cultures in general, and the value of tradition which Wakanda is built upon. It's through learning of Killmonger's origin that T'Challa is truly tested and made aware of his shortcomings. However, he is not yet ready to come to terms with the meaning of this betrayal. willing to send Killmonger away just like his father did.
You can't let your father's mistakes define who you are. You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
He reluctantly fights so that he can come face to face with the inner turmoil that plagues him. And upon losing this battle, mainly due to this internal conflict, does he begin to understand that the Black Panther is more than just a guardian. It's a symbol of change and redirection of the future. It's after a jarring defeat to Killmonger that he's reborn with a purpose, a much stronger conviction than the rote following of tradition, which embodies the spirit of the original Panther. We see T'Challa question his father's judgment for the first time. The mystic plane is no longer a dark and regal purple, but daylight. Gone is the mystery and left are the plain facts, that they've committed travesty of negligence against the world and must pay for it. The Panther spirits are gone, and in their stead are the kings of Wakanda. He reckons with their past and thereby affirms Wakanda's future.
You are wrong! All of you are wrong! To turn your backs on the rest of the world! We let the fear of our discovery stop us from doing what is right. No more!
Black Panther is the hero's journey told through the lens of the African diaspora. It captures the sentiment of the Black American experience, the effect of losing identity, and the struggle of facing who you are and knowing what you want to become. The story's resonance with audiences came from the fact that Ryan Coogler was willing to explore these difficult concepts and give us an earnest and tangible beginning for conversations that need to take place.
Well, maybe your home's the ones that's lost. That's why they can't find us.
Coogler, himself a product of the Bay Area, like his character Killmonger and Oscar Grant, gives those members of our Black community taken too soon a chance to live again on the ancestral plane, where they may finally run free. They live again every time T'Challa and his countrymen speak the words, Wakanda forever. I want to thank you all who stayed tuned in. I hope you can give me a like, subscribe, and comment if you appreciated anything about this video. Feel free to explore my channel more for other essays. If you're so inclined, my Patreon is set up now to help the channel grow. And as always, thank you for watching.